Today, the SEC sues a crypto businessman claiming he sold unregistered securities to fund his lavish lifestyle. Hackers target DeFi exchange Curve Finance and steal millions. And Jack O'Halloran of Skale Labs discusses the growing controversy around Worldcoin and its retina scanning technology. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Jordan Smith. Cryptocurrencies held steady through the weekend. By noon Eastern, Bitcoin still traded above $29,000. Ether traded right below $1,860, while Cardano hovered at 31 cents. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. DeFi exchange Curve Finance was just hacked. The platform tweeted on Sunday that hackers had used a bug in Curve's underlying code to trick smart contracts, allowing them to drain a number of liquidity pools. Blockchain security firm BlockSec estimated the hack to be more than $41 million as of this morning. Crypto hacks have actually slowed in 2023 thanks to low liquidity, with crime falling 65% from a year ago, according to Chainalysis. Next, the SEC just sued a U.S. entrepreneur for allegedly selling more than $1 billion in unregistered crypto securities to fund his lavish lifestyle. The agency alleges that Richard Schuler, also known as Richard Hart, used three crypto offerings, Hex, PulseChain, and PulseX, as a quote, pathway to grandiose wealth, including millions of dollars in Rolex watches. Hex tokens were marketed as an ETH-based CD, promising a 38% annual return. The SEC claims that that was just a cover for Schuler's alleged scheme. Last, more countries are looking into Sam Altman's retina scanning crypto tech. On Friday, France's privacy watchdog told Reuters the technology's legality is, quote, questionable, and that it had launched an investigation. Meanwhile, Germany is also looking into Worldcoin. The country's own privacy regulator told Reuters that it was looking into the project and that it had started investigating all the way back in November of 2022 over concerns that Worldcoin collected sensitive data at a very large scale. So for our main story, I spoke to Jack O'Halloran, the CEO of Skale Labs, about the growing scrutiny around Worldcoin and the competition for attention between AI and crypto. Thank you so much for being here today. Let's start this conversation on Worldcoin specifically, because it's been gaining more and more attention from regulators since it launched last week. You have the UK, France, and Germany all saying they're looking into the technology. So what's your perspective on Worldcoin? What do you make of these concerns that it's potentially invasive, collecting this sensitive information without oversight?
Yeah, it's a really interesting topic. And I think the most interesting thing, and to me, is that blockchain is a lot of things to a lot of people. It could be the answer for, anti-banking, anti-centralized money. It could also be an answer for better centralized banking, better tracking of people, better, centralized authority. And so that's the cool thing about the tech, is that it could do a lot of things. And so when you have a polarizing technology, it really sets people off in every direction. And so something like Worldcoin, what it's trying to do is have a validated identity for every person in the world to connect your identity to an address on the blockchain. And that scares people, especially, and it brings up issues around centralization and security and other topics that I think everyone's saying, hey, we should take this seriously.
Does Worldcoin live up to this idea of decentralized identity? Because yes, you can get your government ID for whatever region you live in, but does Worldcoin address those concerns of centralization if customers are expected to trust it with its identity and privacy, with their identity and privacy, using this proprietary orb technology?
Yeah. So what I'd say is the big aha here is that this, if it is so critical, if it is the de facto soul bound identity, this, which is a term crypto people use, is it's an NFT that's attached to you. Well, one, what government's going to do it? Are we going to elect a centralized government authority? No, governments don't get along. And so what that means then is, okay, then are we going to have a private business do that? And that's the issue there, is that we do have people that are founders of Worldcoin, that are business people. People have invested in the growth of Worldcoin and from a VC perspective. And so when you have those dynamics, the rest of the world says, hey, well, why are we picking this company to be our intermediary? And so that's where the decentralization is critical and security is critical. And, and that's their biggest issue right now, is they're nowhere near where they should be in terms of decentralization and security. But they're trying to solve a hard problem, because, if we wait for some government group to do this, it'll never happen.
I don't mean to imply that you're in a room with Sam Altman by any means, but if you were, is there something that you're looking at when you look at Worldcoin that says, this is how you could improve to address some of those concerns because it is such a polarizing technology? Is there something that you look at with this this retina scanning or with the way that the platform works that you could say this is how it could improve?
Yeah, so Vitalik had a really interesting post writing about this, because I think he saw, the power and where this could go. And I think a lot of people see that, hey, there are a lot of people that are getting their eyes scanned. I was reading every 8 seconds, somebody is getting scanned. And, and so for them, they really, if I were talking to Sam right now, I'd say, hey, you've got to, whatever the plan for decentralization is, you better put your foot on the gas and double it, triple it. And you need to get a lot of power in the hands of a lot of people, because right now, power and authority is in the hands of a few people. And when that happens, it's dangerous. It's also dangerous to decentralize too quickly. So this is not an easy problem to solve. And that's, again, why I think some people are really negative about the prospects of Worldcoin, whereas other people, obviously are bullish.
I mean, there is an AI conversation to be had here, because part of the reason for the scan is to make sure that you're in fact a human and not a bot signing up for the service. There's been a growing conversation, especially trying to figure out what's made by humans, what's made by AI. Is there room for blockchain in that conversation to have a use case helping to verify proof of humanity, so to speak?
Yeah. Well, one interesting thing is you look at the person who started the world's most successful and transformational AI company in the world is also one of the people starting what could be the most transformational, global adopted crypto solution. And so to look at these things, it's not a coincidence. These two, AI and blockchain, are technologies built to work together. When we started Scale in 2018, that was our premise. We've had a AI plugin since 2019. So there's a ton of value that can be added, and there's lots of really amazing future use cases. But one of them is around security, fraud detection, et cetera, and things that our credit cards and banks use today to try to prevent fraud. Those same technologies can integrate and add value back to blockchain, but it's one of many, many values that can be added, is what I'd say.
You mentioned Scale's connection to AI, so maybe you're the right person to ask. It feels like crypto and AI have been in competition for attention this year, especially given all of the attention that crypto got in 2021 and part of 2022. Can these technologies work together in other ways? Is there enough oxygen in the room right now, especially from the VC side, to fund both? What does that look like going forward?
Yeah, and that's a really, really great question. So I started working in AI, by the way, in 2008. I spent 9 years working in the space. I like to joke that I started working in AI when AI was not intelligent yet. And, it's funny for me. It reminds me a lot of the 2018 Bitcoin or Ethereum, and everyone, there wasn't enough oxygen in the room to have both Bitcoin and Ethereum satisfied. And it's either going to be Ethereum or Bitcoin. And these were two very different technologies that were incredibly supportive of each other. If you look at the value they add to each other, they're not competitive, they're collaborative. But people couldn't figure that out. And we're the same place we are right now with blockchain and AI. And one issue that I think you called out very astutely is oxygen in the room and LP resources into venture capital firms. And so that's where we're seeing a lot of competition. A lot of these kind of AI non-supportive or blockchain non-supportive of AI people are people in the blockchain space who are trying to raise money right now for their VC firms, not realizing they should be leaning into it as opposed to trying to fight it.
Okay, that's all for Crypto World today. We'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.